Serious people who did a long time, 5 years in prison. What was your biggest shock of the outside world? Attention. Serious tag notice. Jokes, puns, and off-topic comments are not permitted in any comment. Parent or child. Parent comments that aren't from the target group will be removed, along with their child replies. Report comments that violate these rules. Posts that have few relevant answers within the first hour. And posts that are not appropriate for the serious tag will be removed. Consider doing an AMA request instead. Thanks for your cooperation and enjoy the discussion. I am a bot. And this action was performed automatically. Please contact the moderators of this subreddit /message/compose/to/r/ask Reddit if you have any questions or concerns. You forget about the details of things. Like the way carpet feels on the bottoms of your feet. What it feels like to shower completely alone and without flip-flops on. In prison you have a certain number of smells that you're exposed to every day. Think of them as the first page in a book. But when you get out you have the rest of the book available. It's a lot to take in all at once. With social media and everything. There's the acknowledgement of the passage of time. When I got locked up I left a lot of friends and family behind and did 3 years on my own. No visitors. No calls. No mail. When I got out it was a trip to get on Facebook and Instagram and see how everyone I was ever close to had moved on with their lives. Having kids. Getting married. Getting fat. Losing weight. Starting and quitting jobs. Falling out with each other. Some even passing away. People think about a prisoner doing time but don't understand that the time does them. You are frozen in it. While you're stuck in a constant loop of the same day every day. The rest of the world moves on without you. When you get home, you feel left behind. It's an anxious panic to catch up after that. Saddest thing I have read today. I hope things get better for you. Just money in general. You have no idea how to handle money. That takes a little time to get used to. Yeah. You can't buy stuff with honey buns anymore. Although that would be nice. Removed. I did 6 years. My biggest shock was finding out you can't do much of anything without a smartphone. Companies don't even do paper applications anymore. They don't have TV in there that lets you keep culturally abreast to some extent. Oh, of course. We got basic cable and I was aware of the new technology but I had no idea everyone was that dependent on it. I did 4 years. The day I got out my uncle took me to Walmart to get everything I needed. I went off by myself to get the things on my list. First I went to the lotion aisle. I was looking at all the lotion and became so overwhelmed by all the choices. Dry skin. Healing. Scented. Etc. In there I had no choices and was given what I needed. Having all these options overwhelmed me. I gave my list to my uncle to get it for me. It was really hard to go out in public for a while. The first night I tried sleeping in a dark bedroom like I did before prison. But couldn't do it. My dad slept on the living room couch with the TV on. So I slept on the other couch. I needed to sleep around people and noise for a while until I got used to being alone again. I was surprised. Because one of the things I missed the most was sleeping in a dark, quiet room. Alone in a comfortable bed. For a long time I slept with my arm or a pillow over my head because of noise and bugs. Removed. 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 For my cousin, it was the Game Boy Advance. This was a while ago, 2006 or so. My cousin, who'd been in prison for about 10 to 15 years, was finally getting out, so me and a bunch of the family went to pick him up. Then go get breakfast at some diner. I was just a little kid at the time, so I was playing with my Game Boy Advance while we were at the restaurant. I'll never forget how much the game I was playing blew my cousin's mind. He saw it and immediately said, "Holy shit. What is that? Look at those graphics. Oh my god. That's insane." His sister, "Are you seeing this shit?" To me, it was just some mess Star Wars game. But to my cousin, it was the future. It's actually through video games that me and him bonded a lot. I would tell him about or show him new stuff in the gaming industry, and he would tell me stories about the games he would play. Growing up, Game Boy wasn't really even the pinnacle of graphics at that time too. Haha. I know. I remember telling him, "This isn't even that great. Just wait until you see the other games I have at home." And he basically told me that he didn't see how games could look better. LMAO. Did you show him? What was his reaction? Edit. What game did you show him? The first game we played when we got home was NFL Street 2 and Burnout Revenge. So nothing that impressive. I also remember telling him about the PS3 like it was some fabled console that would be the pinnacle of video game graphics. Maybe it's just my nostalgia glasses, but the Burnout series had pretty decent graphics. Removed. 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 Just got out. Weirdest thing was seeing all these damn scooters laying everywhere. That's weird to all of us. Removed. 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 My father was incarcerated from 2003 to 2016, and the biggest shock for him was technology and how much McDonald's has raised prices. LMAO. Man. I'm kinda at the fuck McDonald's point. I have lived on that shit for most of my life, and I will always have a soft spot for a 1 a.m. McDouble. But it's pricey enough at this point that much better tasting options are available for the same cost. A meal at McDonald's costs almost as much as a meal at Five Guys. Lunch at McDonald's costs like $11 to $14 here. Burger King is like $8. And the drive-through lines are always insane. I'll eat garbage. Don't worry about it. I won't pay $14 to eat garbage. And I certainly am not going to pay $14 and sit in my car for 30 minutes for garbage. I was in for robbery too. Mandatory minimum of 5 years. 10 months. One of the hardest things for me once I got out was making choices. Let me explain. In prison, you might have two choices for shampoo if you're lucky. The first time I went shopping for hygiene essentials was at Target. I remember being so overwhelmed by the amount of choices for shampoo and having no idea which one to get. I stood in that aisle and cried for a few minutes before I just left without getting anything. Edit. Wow. I did not expect so many responses. I am trying to respond to all the comments, but I have to go to work right now. I will be responding later. Thank you for all of your thoughts. My older bro was in for 4 and he had the same struggle as you. Any choice he had to make for himself had him overwhelmed, and understandably so. When asked what boxers he wanted, he just stood there in the aisle staring at them until one of us perked up to help him, and it amazed me in all honesty. Honestly, I still have a hard time with the overwhelming amount of choices for things like that. I have to have a decider with me when I go to get clothing. People, including myself, already have a struggle making a decision without having been in. So I can't even imagine how that must make even the smallest things a struggle for you. I hope you're doing alright, my man. Not sure how long you've been out for, but any progress is the best kind of progress. I have done 5 years in prison. I was mostly amazed by smart TVs. With Netflix and browsers directly in the TV. And the 4G internet speeds blew my mind as well. Removed. 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 My father was a counselor in a state prison for 12 years. He told me the inmates would often talk about wanting to feel their body submerged in water. Taking a bath. Swim. Etc. There are only showers, so that feeling up being weightless. Floating. Submerged was something these men would fantasize about. Removed. 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 5 years for aggravated assault and robbery. I was 3 months past my 18th birthday when I was sentenced. I lived in a small railroad town in south central PA. I guess one of the biggest shocks for me was how much the town had changed. The scrubland where we rode our bikes and dirt bikes is now a strip mall. My friend's driveway is now the main road through that part of town. Someone fixed up the old dive bar and turned it into a fairly popular restaurant and bar. Hell. Whole developments popped up all over the place. And while I wouldn't exactly call the changes gentrification, the town certainly has improved as far as standards of living, without ridiculously increasing the cost of living. Shock number 2 was internet access. AOL, NetZero, Earthlink, etc. were the go-tos then, but phased out within a couple years of my release as faster access from cable companies became more widely available and affordable. Great question. I don't often get to chime in on this sub. Edit. I'm blown away by the response to this comment. Thank you for the upvotes, comments, questions, concern, and support. And thank you, kind strangers, for the awards. Shock number 2 was internet access. I have a friend who works as a corrections officer. He works a county jail, so he sees people who are awaiting trial, serving short sentences, or awaiting transfer to long-term stays in prison, so he tends to see people at the start of their service to the state. One of the bigger shocks he sees affecting these new inmates is how they've suddenly been cut off from the internet. No social media. No YouTube. Nothing, and this outage will go on for years. Yes. There are black market ways to get access. But the initial shock can be pretty severe. Most of us don't realize how addicted we really are to our access. I feel like my technology life has impacted my ability to read a book. It's like I have ADHD now regarding just sitting there and trying to read. Not enough stimulation or something, so I inevitably put it down and go back to my phone, tablet, or laptop. I hate it. I grew up without a TV and have always been a huge reader, and although I am surrounded by books, I haven't finished one in a few years. Removed.